arguably the best game this Saturday pits number 7 Indiana against number 3 Oregon, a top 10 Big Ten showdown with huge college football playoff implications. It just doesn't get better than this. Middle of October, a matchup of this caliber doesn't get better than this. The million-dollar question is, can Indiana pull off the upset? Will Indiana come in here and show us they really are the real deal? I think this is a very elite team, but can they get a defining win under Curt Cignetti in Eugene, or will Oregon just continue their dominance and show that they are maybe the team to beat in the Big Ten? No offense to Ohio State. We're going to talk about it right now, though. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com. That's home to our expert picks, which are some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country. They're beating out over 80% of the national handicappers, have done so each of the last 6 years. We're fresh off a 60% week in college football, another successful week in the NFL. We want you to take advantage of it. Win big with us today as a member of our GE Nation, again, over on thegridironexpert.com. All right, let's just jump into it. Top 10 showdown. Indiana, number 7. Number 3, Oregon. We'll start with the Hoosiers, who obviously are no surprise, right? I mean, they were in the college football playoff last year. It's a very, very good team and a very well-coached team by Curt Cignetti. Their offense right now is arguably better than what we saw last year. That's a scary thing, right? The Hoosiers are 5th in the nation, averaging 538.2 yards per game, over 270 through the air, nearly 270 on the ground. I mean, about as balanced as you can get for Indiana. Fernando Mendoza, transferring in from California, has been phenomenal. Over 1,200 yards, 16 touchdowns, just 1 interception so far this year. And he's got 2 elite wide receivers. I don't use that word lightly. 2 elite wide receivers in Omar Cooper, who has 432 yards and 6 touchdowns, and Elijah Surratt, who has 388 yards and 6 touchdowns. So 12 of the 16 touchdowns that Mendoza has thrown have gone to Cooper or Surratt, which is pretty dang impressive, and obviously going to be a focal point for Dan Lanning's defense, trying to shut down those 2 receivers and forcing Mendoza to find someone else to get the ball to. But even if the passing game gets shut down, the running game, which again averages nearly 270 yards per game, has been phenomenal. They have 4 active players that have rushed for at least 100 yards. Mendoza is one of them, but Roman Hemby and Kalen Black have both rushed for over 300 yards. So this is just a ridiculously good, efficient Indiana offense. The offensive line kind of gets overshadowed. It shouldn't. They are doing their job extremely well. They are protecting Mendoza extremely well. The running game is obviously succeeding extremely well. And that's going to be the biggest key for Indiana here, is making sure that their offense does not become one-dimensional in Eugene. Do not allow Oregon to take away your passing game or your running game. And obviously, if you're Oregon, and we'll talk about this in a second, if I'm Oregon, I'm focusing more on the running game. Take away Indiana's run, force Mendoza to win the game through the air. That's what I would be doing if I was Oregon. We'll touch on that again in a second. Oregon, their offense, well-oiled machine, despite all the losses they had from this last offseason. They're 9th in the nation, 503 yards per game, 264 through the air, 239 on the ground, so also extremely balanced. Dante Moore, phenomenal. Weren't sure what to expect out of him, right? But we should have expected nothing less. We should have expected him to thrive. That's exactly what he's doing. Over 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, just 1 interception. So you got 2 quarterbacks in this game that take great care of the football. Their last game out against Penn State, right, was just a masterclass. So I know it was a double overtime win. It was really close, but 248 passing yards, 176 rushing yards. They only allowed 1 sack. This is a dangerous Oregon team that, like Indiana, is balanced, is efficient, and can beat you in just about any way. Dante Moore, as we mentioned, has been great. The freshman wide receiver, DeCorian Moore, has been phenomenal as well. 296 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he's getting overshadowed by a lot of other players across the country, but he is one of the best wide receivers in the nation. And one thing that's impressed me the most about Oregon, too, is not how efficient they are. It's not how explosive they are, not how high scoring they are. They're averaging over 46 points per game. Talk about sustaining drives. The Ducks are converting on over 50% of their third down. So they are maintaining drives. They are not going 3 and out very often. They are finding ways to get down the field. And there's very rarely a time where Oregon does not find a way to get points, right? I know that 3-3 first half against Penn State was a rarity for them against what we thought was a decent Penn State team. But they came alive in the second half to ultimately win double overtime. So they're maintaining drives. They're typically getting off to very fast starts. And that's what Oregon needs to try to do on Saturday afternoon, is get off to a very fast start and just crush Indiana's spirit. Indiana's a good football team. They can absolutely hang in this game. But if Oregon jumps out to a quick 10-0, 14-0 lead, just like that for Indiana, doesn't even know what happens, it's going to be very hard for the Hoosiers in this environment to crawl out of that. And so that's what I would be doing if I were Oregon. Defensively, Indiana, you got to tell yourself, what can we do to not let that happen? What can we do to prevent that fast start? Well, the question is for Indiana is, how are they going to handle this Oregon offense? Because this is the best offense they've seen. Indiana had a joke of a non-conference schedule, and the best offense they've seen to this point was probably Illinois, and it's not that electric, not that dynamic, right? And they did win that game 63-10. They shut down the Illinois offense, but they are nothing like Oregon. Illinois is nothing like Oregon. Iowa's nothing like Oregon. Those are the two toughest teams Indiana's played. So this is a completely different animal. Completely different type of offense, completely different environment. It's going to be very, very tough for the Hoosiers on Saturday, right? Their defense has been good. The games they've played, they've done their job. 221 total yards per game is all they're giving up. On average, 133 through the air, only 88 on the ground. The biggest thing for Indiana is in a game like this, against a team like this, in an environment like this, is to disrupt. That is the key word. Disrupt, disrupt, disrupt. You're not going to shut down Oregon's offense. It's not going to happen. You're not going to walk into Eugene and simply just hold them to 17 points. It's not going to happen. But you can disrupt. You can slow them down, and you can get them into second and third and long situations. You can force Dante Moore to throw another interception. He's only thrown one all year. They've got 16 sacks. Indiana, they have forced 16 sacks on the year. They forced eight turnovers on the year. So if you find a way to pressure the quarterback, if you find a way to get some turnovers off the Ducks, you find a way to stay in this game. If you can't do that, it could be a very, very long day. Keep in mind, guys, you look at last time Oregon was out on the field, the Ducks didn't score a touchdown until 3 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Oregon did not score a touchdown until 3:16 remaining in the third quarter. I'm not saying Indiana's going to do the same thing. I'm not saying Indiana has to do exactly that. But like we just mentioned, do not allow Oregon to get off to a fast start. Slow them down, bend but don't break a little bit, and make sure that Oregon doesn't pop you in the mouth and have you guessing where the heck you are about 5 minutes into this game. Oregon's defense, they kind of need to do that themselves. 7th in the nation in total defense, 238 yards per game is all they're giving up, only 123 through the air. The concern I think I would actually have for Oregon defensively is their rushing defense has some holes, right? They're giving up 114.8 rushing yards per game, and that's actually good news for Indiana because that maybe makes them believe they could have some success on the ground. Oregon has allowed at least 144 rushing yards in 3 of the 5 games that they've played. The only teams that did not do that were Montana State in their season opener and then Oregon State, which is currently 0-6. So, Penn State had some success. Oklahoma State, despite Oregon annihilating them, had a little bit of success. Northwestern, I know, had that big one breakout run towards the end of the game, but they had a little success. So, 144 rushing yards or more in 3 of the 5 games that they've played. You've got to find a way to shut that down. We talked about it at the beginning of this video. If I had to choose one aspect of Indiana's offense to slow down or shut down, if I'm Oregon, it's the run. It's the run. Because I have faith in their secondary. I have faith in Oregon's secondary. And I do believe Mendoza might make a mistake or two in, and again, a very, very hostile environment. So Oregon's got to find a way to clog the lanes, shut down the run. Don't allow them to get over even $110. Don't allow them to run for 110, if that. Force Mendoza to try to have to win this game through the air, and then you can focus on trying to slowly taking away his top 2 receivers, because outside of Omar Cooper, outside of Elijah Surratt, he's going to have to find other big-time weapons to make the big-time plays. I'm not sure Indiana can do that. So that's going to be the biggest key for Oregon, but the running defense is a minor concern and something they're going to have to really focus on Saturday afternoon. What's going to happen? I'm going to give you a backstory first. Okay, this is not a dog on Indiana, all right? Curt Cignetti's done a phenomenal job. They took one of the most irrelevant programs in college football, one of the most losing programs in college football history. He made them to the college football playoff last year. He's got them ranked 7th in the nation. 5 years ago, no one would have thought this was possible. But Indiana has benefited from fairly favorable schedules, all right? When we have seen Indiana and the very few decent matchups they've had, they have not fared well. Okay, so playing at Northwestern, playing at Michigan State, playing at Maryland, whatever, those environments and those teams are nothing compared to what they're going to face Saturday afternoon in Eugene. And we have a little data to back that up, right? Last year at Ohio State, Indiana was steamrolling everybody. They go to Ohio State, they lose 38-15. They were outgained 316-153 and were held to 85 rushing yards. Then they go to the playoff and they go to Notre Dame. They lost 27-17. couple late touchdowns made that game look a lot closer than it really was. They were outgained 394 to 278, were held to 63 rushing yards. Even earlier this year, against Iowa, not an easy environment. I think Eugene's going to be tougher than Kinnick, but still, against Iowa, they only won 20 to 15. Were outgained, what they muster, 337 yards, right? 337, 284, 104 rushing yards. That's it. So in the three toughest probably road games they faced under Curt Cignetti, the most rushing yards they've had was 104. They've lost 2 of those in blowout fashions. They narrowly beat Iowa. Need a late touchdown the final 2 minutes to get that win, by the way. I'm saying all this because Oregon is at the level of Ohio State last year. Oregon is at the level of Notre Dame last year. Eugene is probably up there with Ohio State as the toughest environment Curt Cignetti's squad's going to face. Indiana's a good football team. Even with this loss to Oregon, they could still make the college football playoff. There's no doubt about it. But you notice how I said they're going to lose? They're going to lose. I feel confident Oregon's going to win this game. I'm not saying they're going to go win it by 40 points or anything like that, but I'm just concerned with the fact that Indiana's numbers and the hype around Indiana, they really haven't played anybody. That was kind of the same case last year. And when they finally did play somebody, it didn't go very well. So on the road, in this electric environment, college game day and appearance, a week of rest for the Ducks. Dan Lanning, a man on a mission. Oregon is going to win this game. I think they win it by at least 10 points. The Ducks remain undefeated. Indiana takes a small stumble. They fall a little bit. The schedule's not horrible from here on out, though. The playoff, a Big Ten championship, everything, all those goals still very much in front of them. Just going to be a minor setback on Saturday afternoon. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com. That's home to our expert picks, some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 6 years. So hurry up, sign up for those today. Again, the link for that down in the description below. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.